Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bidenomics.
Now, as inflation is coming down, take-home pay for workers is going up.
That food prices, grocery prices are still weighing on families. And so there's a major disconnect between what the White House is pushing and saying that the economy is improving in Biden's push for Bidenomics, and then what people are feeling in their pocketbooks.
When I wake up in the morning, I start worrying about bills that need to be paid.
I start worrying about how I'm going to, provide for my family.
Workers' wages are higher now than they were 7 months ago, adjusted for inflation.
The other day, my kids were talking about how they miss eating Pizza Hut because that was, for us, it's a luxury item.
Americans accumulated $43 billion during the second quarter of the year. And that's not all, folks. Poverty also on the rise. Newly released data shows the number of children in poverty more than doubled last year.
The typical family now is earning $5,000 less per year now than they were 2.5 years ago. And in 21 of the past 26 months, American families experienced a very real pay cut. It's no surprise that as credit card debt soared and American families have put on $3,000 per family in additional credit card debt the past 2.5 years, almost dollar for dollar matching the income loss as American families have drained their savings and then gone into debt just to pay the grocery bill and, of course, the very high mortgage payments right now.
We're giving Grant a haircut here so that we can save about $30 from this haircut. My husband does his own hair, and we cut our 22-year-old son hair as well.
Real average hourly wages are actually down since the day President Biden took office, about 3%. So is that Bidenomics?
Real wages are up relative to before the pandemic. It's 80% of the workforce that's either blue collar in manufacturing or non-supervised, non-managers in services, and those wages are actually above the pre-pandemic level.
Joel, your response?
Real wages last month increased 8 cents per hour. That's just a fraction of the dollar per hour that we've lost over the past 2.5 years. And when we're looking at these wage losses, that $5,000 is serious enough. But if you're a family with $20,000 of credit card debt, you've seen your interest payments go from $1,500 a year to $3,000 per year.
I use Facebook Marketplace probably about 1 to 2 times a week and sell several items at the same time. It's just a great way for us to save money, make some money, and then we can do special things like date nights or help us out with some bills here and there.
A new poll found more Americans trust former President Donald Trump than Biden to fix the economy by 47 to 36% margin.
These numbers are very troubling for the president heading into 2024. 70% of Americans believe the economy is getting worse. Only 22% believe it is getting better. And this is while President Biden for months has been touting Bidenomics.
Breaking news related to that United Auto Workers strike. Let's head back to Phil LeBeau in Detroit. Phil.
John Ford has just announced that it is laying off approximately 600 workers at its Michigan assembly plant. That is the plant where one of the UAW strikes is taking place because those employees need some of the parts that the UAW works with and provides to the stamping operation, the body construction operation, and they cannot do that. Ford says it has no choice but to tell those workers they are now laid off.
Now 2 years in, it's clearer than ever that my economic plan is actually working.
Today, it's a disaster. It's as if the administration refuses to talk to the tens of millions of families that are feeling the pain right now.
My biggest fear right now is to keep a roof over our head, gas in our car, and food on our table.
My biggest fear is that things aren't going to get better, that it's just going to keep getting worse.
It all adds up to a real break for consumers, real breathing room for families, and more proof that my economic plan is working.